I gave my little sister a $250,000 wedding on our family estate. Live orchestra, Tiffany champagne tower, custom Vera Wang gown. A month later, I found out she sold my story to a tabloid, called me the pathetic heiress who buys affection. Turns out she wasn't the only one pretending, and I wasn't the only one hiding a secret. I'm Lillian Hawthorne. You've probably heard the name from your grandmother's linen closet. Hawthorne Textiles, founded in 1892, still going strong. When I was 23, our parents died in a plane crash over the Swiss Alps. Private jet, mechanical failure, gone in seconds. I became guardian to my baby sister Chloe. She was 14, braces, acne, still slept with her stuffed elephant. I had just been accepted to Harvard Business School. Full scholarship, my future mapped out perfectly. I gave it all up for her. Someone had to raise her. The relatives circled like vultures. They wanted the money, not the responsibility. I couldn't let strangers raise my sister, so I moved back to the family estate in the Hamptons, enrolled Chloe in private school, made sure she had everything she needed, every birthday party, every school play, every heartbreak over some boy named Tyler. I was there. The trust fund my father left was locked until I turned 35. Lawyer's orders. Something about ensuring maturity and responsibility. So we lived off dividends. Comfortable but not extravagant. Chloe didn't know about the restrictions. She thought money was endless. She grew up beautiful. Blonde hair that caught sunlight. Blue eyes like our mother. By 18, she had 100K Instagram followers posting makeup tutorials and outfit of the day photos. All designer clothes, all paid for by me. She started a YouTube channel. Beauty tips, lifestyle content. Living my best life captions over photos of our estate. Her followers loved the luxury. The behind-the-scenes glimpses of old money life. I bankrolled everything. Camera equipment, professional lighting, a content manager I hired at $5,000 a month. Chloe's brand was built on Hawthorne money, but she was the face, she was the star. By 22, she had 2 million followers. Brand partnerships with Sephora, Nordstrom, luxury skincare lines. She was making good money, but not enough for her lifestyle. Every month she'd come to me. Lily, I need a little help with rent. Her Manhattan apartment cost $8,000 a month. Lily, my credit card is maxed, usually around $15,000. Lily, can you cover my trip to Paris? It's for content. I always said yes. She was my sister. My responsibility, my only family. Then she met Marcus, investment banker. Handsome in that generic Wall Street way. Expensive suits, expensive watch, expensive cocaine habit. I found out about the drugs when his dealer called our house looking for payment. Apparently, Marcus had been using our address for deliveries. When I confronted Chloe, she cried. Said she didn't know. Said Marcus promised to get clean. 3 months later, she was engaged. The ring was gorgeous. 3-carat diamond, Tiffany setting. Cost him $60,000. Later, I found out he'd borrowed the money from loan sharks. 20% interest. They wanted their money in 6 months, or Marcus would lose more than his credit rating. Lily, I want a fairy tale wedding. Chloe said, tears in her eyes. Something magical. Something people will remember forever. How could I say no? I planned everything. Booked the entire estate for the weekend. Hired a wedding planner who'd done ceremonies for A-list celebrities. The dress took 4 months to make. Vera Wang herself flew in for the final fitting. I hired a 12-piece orchestra. Real musicians, not some college quartet. They played during the ceremony and reception. The flowers alone cost $35,000. White roses, peonies, and baby's breath flown in from Ecuador. The whole estate looked like a fairy tale garden. For dinner, I flew in a Michelin-starred chef from France. 7 courses, wine pairings, champagne tower with real Tiffany crystal glasses, 200 guests, all of Chloe's influencer friends, college sorority sisters, and Marcus's Wall Street colleagues. I even hired a private ballet company to perform during cocktail hour. Chloe had always loved ballet as a child. The photos were incredible. Chloe looked like a princess. Marcus looked relieved. The guests were appropriately impressed. 3 days before the wedding, Marcus's debt collectors showed up at our door. $40,000 owed, payment due immediately. I wrote the check. I couldn't let them ruin Chloe's day. The wedding was perfect. Everything Chloe dreamed of. She cried during our father-daughter dance. Called me her hero. I love you, Lily. I don't know what I'd do without you. I believed her. 3 weeks later, my lawyer called. Lillian, have you seen Elite Chronicles Weekly? I hadn't. I don't read gossip magazines. You might want to pick up a copy. I drove to the nearest newsstand. Bought the magazine with shaking hands. Front page headline, Heiress Pays Millions to Keep Sister Relevant. Subtitle, Sources Say Lonely Lillian Hawthorne Buys Love Because She Can't Earn It. The photos made my stomach drop. Pictures of me taken through our kitchen window. Dark circles under my eyes. Hair unwashed. Looking exhausted and desperate. How did they get these photos? Who was watching our house? The article was worse than the pictures. Sources close to the family say Lillian Hawthorne, 33, has no real friends and uses her inherited wealth to manipulate relationships. The textile heiress recently spent over $250,000 on her sister's wedding, despite the bride's embarrassment over her sister's desperate attempts to buy affection. She has no life outside of managing my career, said the anonymous source. It's honestly kind of sad. Money is the only reason people stay around her. She thinks throwing money at problems makes her a good person. But really, she's just lonely and pathetic. The anonymous source was clearly Chloe. I recognized her phrases, her cruel honesty. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely turn the pages. Oh, more photos. Me at Chloe's birthday party last year, standing alone while she posed with friends. Me writing checks at various events. Me always in the background, always paying, always ignored. The article painted me as a tragic figure. The spinster heiress who couldn't buy genuine love. Every detail was accurate, which meant Chloe had given them everything. My phone was ringing. Unknown numbers. Reporters, probably. I turned it off. That evening, Chloe came home. She'd been at a spa weekend with friends. Paid for by me, of course. She walked into the kitchen with that bright smile. Lily, I missed you. How was your weekend? I slid the magazine across the counter. Her smile disappeared instantly. Lily, I can explain. Did you sell this story? It's not what you think. Did you sell this story about me? She started crying. Real tears. The kind that used to make me forgive everything. My publicist said it would be good for my brand. You know, show that I come from money, but I'm still relatable. She said, You called me pathetic. I never said that word. They twisted everything. You know how magazines are. You said I buy affection because I can't earn it. That's not... I was trying to show that our relationship is real, not about money. By telling them it's only about money, she sobbed harder. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I didn't think they'd make it sound so mean. I wanted to believe her. I'd spent 10 years believing her, but I'd also spent 10 years paying for her life while she talked behind my back. How much did they pay you? What? For the story. How much? She looked at the floor. $80,000. $80,000. She'd sold my dignity for $80,000. And the photo credit for those pictures of me, another 20. So 100,000 total. She nodded miserably. I thought about the wedding. The $250,000 I'd spent to make her happy. The debt I'd paid to save her embarrassment. She'd made money humiliating me. Get out. Lily, please, get out of my house. This is my home too. No, it's not. It never was. It was my house where you lived for free. She left that night, took her designer clothes and her ring light and her entire fabricated lifestyle. I thought that was the end. But the magazine story was just the beginning. Suddenly, everyone knew about my pathetic attempts to buy love. The society pages picked it up. Page 6 mentioned it. TMZ did a segment. I became a meme. The lonely heiress who couldn't buy friends. Ooh, people I'd known for years started acting differently. Dinner invitations stopped coming. Phone calls went unanswered. Had they always thought I was pathetic? Had everyone been laughing behind my back? I stopped leaving the house, stopped answering calls. The staff tiptoed around me like I was fragile. Maybe I was. 3 months later, I disappeared entirely. I told the staff I was taking a sabbatical, handed over the house management to my assistant, packed a single suitcase. Everyone assumed I was having a breakdown, the grief-stricken heiress finally cracking under pressure. The tabloids loved it. Where's Lonely Lillian became a regular feature. But here's what nobody knew. Not Chloe, not the magazines, not even my lawyers. I'd never had access to the real Hawthorne fortune. My father's will locked everything in a trust until my 35th birthday. We lived off dividend payments from a small portion of the estate. Comfortable money. But not the millions everyone assumed I had. For the past 4 years, while everyone thought I was just playing house with trust fund money, I'd been building something else. Something real, something mine. I started with $50,000, my own savings from the small allowance the trust provided. I invested in a clean energy startup run by 3 MIT graduates. The company was developing new solar panel technology. More efficient, more affordable, revolutionary potential. I invested anonymously, used a shell company, a fake name. Nobody knew Lillian Hawthorne was involved. The technology worked. The company grew. I reinvested every profit. Within 2 years, I was the majority shareholder. Within 3 years, we were the leading clean energy supplier on the East Coast. Within 4 years, we had government contracts worth hundreds of millions. The company was called AscentCore Energy, and I was the silent founder. While Chloe was selling stories about my pathetic life, I was building a $3.2 billion empire. When I disappeared after the magazine scandal, I wasn't having a breakdown. I was preparing for our IPO. 6 months later, I returned to New York. Not to the Hamptons estate, not to the old society circles. I returned as CEO of AscentCore Energy, the most successful clean tech company of the decade. The announcement was front page of the Wall Street Journal. Mystery founder revealed Lillian Hawthorne clean energy pioneer. The same magazines that had called me pathetic now called me visionary. The billionaire who hid in plain sight. From heiress to empire builder. The silent genius of clean energy. My net worth had tripled overnight. Not from inheritance. From work I'd built myself. The invitations started coming again. Different people this time. CEOs, politicians, people who wanted to partner with AscentCore. Real relationships built on respect, not pity. I was featured on magazine covers. Forbes, Fortune, Time's most influential people. The same photographer who'd taken those awful pictures of me through the kitchen window now wanted to shoot my official portraits. I said no. Chloe tried to reach out. Emails. Text messages. She showed up at AscentCore headquarters. Security turned her away. She posted on Instagram a long emotional apology, talking about how proud she was of her sister, how she'd always known I was special. The comments were brutal. People remembered the magazine story. They weren't buying her change of heart. Her follower count started dropping. Brand partnerships disappeared. Without the Hawthorne money and lifestyle content, her influence faded. Marcus left her 6 months after I disappeared. Apparently, loan sharks don't care about Instagram followers. A year after my return, Elite Chronicles Weekly called. They wanted to do a follow-up story. The silent billionaire who outsmarted New York. This time I agreed to the interview. What would you say to people who called you pathetic? The reporter asked. I smiled. I'd say they were right about one thing. I was buying affection. But I learned something valuable from that experience. What's that? Real relationships aren't for sale, but respect can be earned. Any message for your sister? I thought about it. About the 10 years I'd spent raising her. The money I'd spent supporting her dreams. The trust I'd given her. About the night she sold my pain for a magazine cover. I hope she finds what she's looking for. But she won't find it from me. The article ran with a photo of me in my corner office. Confident, successful, genuinely happy. I framed a copy and sent it to Chloe's apartment. No note, no explanation. Just a card that read, "This time the quote's mine." I never heard from her again. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt. Some trust once broken stays broken. But some people once freed discover they never needed saving in the first place. I was one of them.